Shankar is joining.
So I think Vijay and Shankar, they need to join.
Shankar will be joining in a couple of minutes.
Hello, who is joining? Shankar, I guess.
Yes, Anand Shankar. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning. So I'm sharing my screen just a bit. Just a second.
Sanat, is this session recording or not recording?
Yeah, this session is recording. As of now, it is getting recorded. Anyway, so is my screen visible?
Yes,
Guys?
yes,
Oh,
we are able to.
so first of all, let's understand the certificate-based communication. One second, rather than certificate-based communication, we will jump on to the creation of our iFlows, and that in the end we will create our certificate, understand the certificate-based communication, because that would be required. First of all, you need to know what exactly certificates are, and then we will I will re-explain those things to everybody so that everybody don't lose out. Okay.
Okay, last class we were creating scenario. We stopped in between, so we are not continuing that.
We stopped at what point? Sorry.
Just we started to create a sender and receiver. So after that we not done anything. So in between we lost the
On the
connection.
Eclipse or on the web UI?
Web UI. Still we not went to Eclipse yet.
Asked him, Pradeep, actually asked him today, like in
Okay.
from the side, please create an interface end to end and run the interface and show it to us.
Okay.
One second. Let me show you something on the web UI which I missed out that day. So I'm going back to that one. Okay. Vijay, you have joined?
Yeah, Vijay is here.
Okay. So going back to our design screen, let's create one. I guess that day I showed you all these things, no? Creating of an iFlow and all those things, creation of iFlow in the web UI. I guess I don't remember exactly. I guess
You started, Sanath, but you were not able to finish it.
okay. Anyway. I guess there was some project work which came along. So let's create one package. Okay, create a package. Creating a package. So let's give a name to the package. Training ground.demo. Demo each one. I give some short description. So let's say uh, this and 1.0 vendor name at that day also. I told you not to add the vendor if it's not known to you. Okay. Just an overview where you can write some description. So something test. Let's add an artifact. First of all, save it.
Sanath, one quick question. Can you go and
Yes, sir.
edit the package after you created it?
Sorry?
Can you edit the package after you created it? Is there any option for that?
No. As soon as you create, everything is there itself. Nothing to edit as of now. It's creation of package. Editing a package is altogether different process. Okay. We will edit a package also. Okay. So let's say I have saved this. Now I have to add one integration flow. So check the integration flow. Test. Scenario. Product profile process integration. Okay, profile cloud platform integration. Sender, let's say I've given the new sender, receiver, description. It's not the mandatory step, so just left it as it is. I'm clicking on test scenario. Okay. Now here it is in saved mode. Now you have to edit it. So click on the option on right hand side, edit. That only you can change and bring new functions to the iFlow. So first of all, connect your sender to your HCI, means which adapter which would be used to connect to your sender to your HCI. So just placing it to start. That's it, just for the sake of understanding I'm saying HTTP. Okay. At the receiver end, I'm taking the adapter as, let's say, IDOC. Okay. So go to this HTTP. You will find at the bottom some configuration fields which you need to provide. You can name this adapters from HTTP to something else. So send sender adapter. Okay. And connection, you need to provide some address. So what is this address? How to create this address? We will understand later today itself in the class. Okay. So I'm deciding. Keeping it as it is, user role, I'm changing nothing, and then sender adapter configuration is done. Changing nothing. Okay. I'm going back to my iFlow, going to my IDOC scenario. Here I can give the name as receiver adapter. Receiver adapter, and in the connection you have to provide the address again, the URL address, and which system are you connecting to? Is this an on-premises? Is this internet, means the connection type is over internet, or is this connecting to on-premises? So we'll understand in the actual configuration of our IDOC adapter what is on-premises connection and what is internet connection. Internet is means something we are sending our IDOC XML over internet to some third party, or if it's not over internet, it's connecting directly to on-premises ECC system, CRM system, any system, on-premises system of SAP. Then it will create the ports at the ECC, and it will post the IDOC to the respective ERP system. Okay.
Sanat
So
Arvind
I'm
here.
just, yes, Arvind.
Yeah. Suppose EC system is on-premise system. So for this existing AL index settings we need to do, or how it will be?
It will require adjusted settings for our HCI. We have to create our SM50. Yeah, we have to create our own SM51 or RFC connection, which is to be specific to our HCI. Okay.
Okay.
When we are sending the data from ECC, then we will be having specific ports for each item. Means generally in PI what we have is we create one port for our PI and we send all the data through that port to the PI from ECC, correct? But in
Yeah.
HCI it won't be the case. For each iFlow you will be having a different or new port to be created. You need to have
Like
uh,
each iFlow, or each IDOC one like an suppose
each
you take
item,
for
each iFlow. See, look, if there is a case of customer replication, or if there is a scenario of material replication, means if the data, customer data is going, if the material data is going, if your purchase data is going. So for each IDOC type, which is going outside your ECC system, you need to have one separate port created, and for that port respectively you
like
have to create your SM59 configuration. Yeah, yeah,
like
please.
you mean to say if it is an uh, IDOC adapter as a sender IDOC adapter, like
Hmm.
suppose Matmas IDOC is there, mm, for that IDOC one separate port number will be there.
Yes, sir, correct.
Suppose that same sender same sender IDOC same sender adapter IDOC adapter at Matmas is used. You take example as 50 scenarios they have used that same thing. So like in
The scenario,
I don't, no no
I didn't get
I
you.
didn't get it. I, like I didn't get it here. ADAC adapter like in I didn't get it.
No, no, no. Wish you will understand this slowly, slowly. Don't worry as of now. See, your HANA Cloud integration is based out on your cloud platform. Okay, so everything which is connected to your cloud, you need to have a specific URL for that. Understand me? Means if the two systems are on premises, okay, so what you used to do, you create a VPN between the two, VPN, or you create a channel between the two via port, and you send all the data via that same port to your PI. Okay, understand this as logically. Okay, okay. So but in this case both the systems are on premises. We are just sending the data, and from we are bunching up all the data in the ECC, and we are sending all the data through that same network connection to that PI, and at the PI end they can identify that this data is from this IDOC, this data is from this IDOC, and then subsequently your interface are getting processed. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct? Till now
Yes.
it's means you can understand. Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to your HCI, okay. So for HCI, you don't have a dedicated full-time connection present in between. Okay, that is one thing is on premises, and one thing is the other software is on the cloud. Okay, so to identify one scenario, means if you are sending the scenario over cloud, over your internet, what you will do, you will create a separate in connection for each IDOC type. So let's say MetMass or DebMass, or for your invoices, let's say sales order type of invoices. So for all those, each IDOC, we will have one separate port created for that IDOC, and that would be sending that IDOC to a specific URL in your HCI.
Okay.
Okay, gripping, little bit gripping.
Yeah. If we configure one interface, we'll able to understand better on this.
Yes, sir. We will be understanding. So this is way before asking this question. So
Yeah.
just as of now, think of it. You have to provide a IDOC URL here. For us guys, for IT, for our PI guys, we don't have any IDOC URL in our PI. Correct? If I'm not wrong, we don't have any IDOC URL which we provide in our IDOC adapter of PI. Correct? But here
Yeah.
we need to provide a IDOC URL in this location. How do we get this? Where do we get this? It's the time will tell. Not to worry about it. I will be sharing each and every detail about this. But as of now, just say that we will be having an IDOC URL which will be generated in your SM59. Just keep these things in with you, and we will move forward. Okay. So now apart from this configuration, it is one-to-one. See, I haven't done any transformation logic, any change logic, or anything like that. I have not done. It is from sender to receiver. It is just like your dummy bypass scenario which you do in your ECC, where you're just picking the file and placing the file somewhere. But that won't be the case. Okay, you need to do some mapping, some transformation logic, some business logic. Those would be applied on all the messages which comes to your PI, to your HCI. So how do we do that? In the right hand side, you will find some events or some uh, features, options which are available. You can click on each of them and you will find some more drag down options present. So if you want to add more receiver to this iFlow, I can click on this, and I can click on this, and I can place it somewhere. So one more receiver would be there. See, one more receiver is there. If I want to have multiple senders, so I can do that. I can click here, I can take one more sender, it will be sender 1, sender 2, Okay, see the name they have given sender one by default. Okay, if I have three, then sender one, sender one, sender two, like that. Okay, then you have the process events. So what are process events? Process is the one which comes by default integration process. There is one more thing called local integration process and exception integration process. So I'm just taking any of these and I'm just creating one iFlow. All these events I will be showing and I will be giving a brief description on all the events which are being provided by SAP in HCI. Okay. So as of now,
Okay.
just a simple event. Okay. I'm taking an mapping event and I'm placing in between the sender and the receiver. Okay. As of now, there is no mapping also created. Okay. You will create a mapping in Eclipse also here also, but just to show you, I am creating a mapping click class, and it will take me to the screen where I have to assign the sender structure and receiver structure. Okay. As of now, we don't have any sender structure and we don't have any receiver structure. So I'm just going back. I'm canceling it. Just you want to continue. Okay. I'm deleting it. Okay.
Like PI, do you want to create any data type, this kind of stuff here, or only directly we can do in mapping,
Uh,
defining
So
the
data
structure?
type you have to create, means the thing is data types you have to create if the sender has not given sender system or receiver system. But the thing is that is not so easy in HCI. Okay, there is no direct editor which they have given in PI. Means in PI we can create our own XML schema via the data types and complex type of that data type. We can import that,
Mm-hmm.
but that is not directly available in your HCI. HCI is kind of an means it relies on the cloud. It is situated on cloud, and it expects that the sender system and receiver system will be sending the XSD or WSDL file which you can import in the HCI. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
rather that is one way, or other way is create your own visual structure in your Eclipse, and that too it is not possible on your web UI of your HCI. Okay, so that is one
Mm-hmm.
more drawback of using web UI of your Eclipse. You cannot create the visual file. Okay, and over Eclipse also visual file, creation of visual file, it is not a direct step. It involves multiple steps to create an visual file and the sender and receiver structure. Okay, you have the SOAP actions and all those things. So for that also, creating a visual file, I will be sharing a document with you guys. So how to download, how to create your visual file. If in case the system or uh, sender has not given you the structures and receiver has not given their structures, and if in case you have to create by your own, then you need to refer that document and you can create the structures. And there
Okay.
is one more way. This is the third way, which I have to tell you. You can directly connect to your PI through your HCI. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there is one more availability. In Eclipse, I will be showing in today itself how to import the structures from our PI system. Okay,
Okay.
so that is one thing. Anyway, so I'm just concentrating right now on the web UI. Okay, so if you have done the configuration, let's say I will say that this configuration is done. I will save it. Okay, it will give me one error, some error. Okay, so that is you haven't provided the URL for your IDOC. Okay, I can click on deploy. Okay, because as of now I cannot, because there is an error in this. It will, okay, it failed. Okay, because the validation failed, so the deploy process has been stopped then and there itself, because you haven't provided the URL of your IDOC. Okay. Plus once you deploy it, it would be available in your monitoring. So I am deleting this scenario. As of now, I'm deleting this scenario. I'm not deploying it. Now this is about your web UI of your HCI. Okay, this is where you do the creation of your iFlows, your designing of your iFlow, means whatever the business process you have, you can design it here itself. By SAP, the recommended UI which you should use is the web UI, because it is updated pretty quickly by SAP, and all the new features are first available over your web UI, and then slowly they roll out those new features or changes or updates in your Eclipse UI also. And for Eclipse UI, you manually need to update your Eclipse. Okay, and you have to do it in very frequently, means after every 15 days or 20 days. Try to update your Eclipse from the this one, new installation option. So how to update? Go to help, click on install new software. Okay, and here you will find something called Neo, HANA Cloud demand.com/neo. And click this one, the SAP Cloud Platform Integration, and it will say all these things are already installed. Your next option, not next button, will not be populated, which means this is already there present on your Eclipse, and you don't need to update it. But if there is a next button is active, then update your Eclipse in 15 to 20 days, means so that all the new features and all the security functions are updated on Eclipse also. Okay. Let's say I want to install the cloud platform. So see, my next button is activated. So I'm just canceling it out. Okay. So this is about my design part of my HCI web UI. Okay. That day, I guess I have already covered the monitoring part of HCI, if I'm not wrong. Have I completed the monitoring part? Anyone?
You have not completed that one.
Monitoring also?
Monitoring part you have not completed.
Okay, okay. One second.
No, you showed that where to see the logs and all from web UI, but Eclipse is still pending.
Okay, from Eclipse it's pending, correct. So 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 web UI we have completed, where we do the monitoring. Okay, what is the message? Manage integration content, manage security content. We have the logs in our HCI. What are the logs as compared to PI? Also, we have some logs present. So we can delete some logs if there is a log on some object by some user. So we can view this logs and we can delete if required. As of now, there are 0 logs. You cannot view those. Okay. So this is about your Eclipse UI. Okay, let's jump on. This is about your web UI of your HCI or your cloud integration. Now I'm jumping on to the Eclipse UI. Okay, how to create an interface and how to deploy that. Okay, so the first time itself we will be deploying one scenario. Okay, test scenario. We'll be testing it from end to end. Okay, let's click on to new. Okay, I guess everybody has their Eclipse ready and installed with their HCI plugins into it. Okay, I would say just open that Eclipse as of now, right now, in front of you, and just keep it open. Okay, and whatever I am doing, I will be giving a separate time, 2-minute time, to create those projects in their Eclipse. So just open Eclipse first on your local, please, and let me know once it's done.
Yes, Anath, we are opening that.
So once is open, click on file, click on new, and click on to integration projects. Okay, let me know once that step is done. And these steps, whatever I'm teaching you or telling you just now, those would be universal steps whenever you want to create some flows from scratch like that. It's not about for the customer standard configuration, but when you are creating a flow from scratch, a scenario from scratch, so in that case, you need to do these steps. So click on File,
Sharath, are
New,
you recording, right?
Integration Project. No, this is not. This won't be recorded.
Okay.
Okay. So project name, just give project name which suits your nomenclature or naming standards of your project. Okay. If it's in training, you can do whatever you want. Generally, we do whatever we want in our sandbox system. But I'm still keeping the nomenclature like this: training dot com dot demo dot go IP. DOIP is a open server present in the market or in over your internet to test your website, or means if your communication is working for open website or not. So that is called GeoIP. Okay, just create one scenario, give this name, click on next. GeoIP. Yes. Now what your SAP does is, your HCI Eclipse does is, it gives you option of what type of communication is it. Means what kind of your iFlow will it be? Will it be a point to point? Will it be content based routing? Okay. Will it be the content filter? Okay. So will it be encoder, content based routing for message interface and receiver interface, multi for receiver and your multiple interfaces. Okay. Then you have translator, splitter. So you can have multiple. You have the option of selecting from this multiple templates which SAP has given, but most of the time the iFlow template which is used is one-to-one. So I'm just selecting one-to-one and clicking on to finish.
Sanath, Arvind here. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sanath, yeah. Suppose once we have selected one to one, after that we are not able to change the direction.
No, we at any point of time, we can change the direction. We can have multiple interfaces or multiple sender receiver. We can modify that iflow in any of the direction. But
Okay.
the primary
Uh,
template which they are providing, you can select from the list. Okay.
okay. Fine. Fine. Okay.
Sanat, can you just go back and show me how you did that?
Sorry.
Can you just go back and show me? I gave the project name, but I don't get anything
Hmm.
else.
You didn't get anything else. Is it so? See, have you clicked on integration project?
Yeah,
Okay. Give
create an
some
integration
name.
project. Then I
Hmm.
gave the name that you had given.
Okay. I'm not just writing something arbitrary. I'm clicking on next.
Project type is integration flow, is it? I don't see next here. I see only
Yeah,
finish.
project. Uh, your product profile. Uh, uh, this one, HANA Cloud Platform Integration, Cloud Platform Integration.
Yeah, product profile is it? One second. No, it's it's similar to how the node type is. I cannot select anything over there.
What is there then?
No, you see the node type, it's grayed out, right? For me, even the product
Yes.
profile is grayed out.
Okay. Which version are you on? New?
I think Sanat, that should be fine because you have multiple version of it, HANA Cloud platform. That's why it is coming product profile. But we just latest download, so it is
No, no.
coming as product platform integration.
I guess so. I haven't gone through that scenario once. Okay. Anyway, so if you click, is there any option of next or there is no next for you?
It only says finish.
Click on finish.
Is that Vijay speaking?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you have neon version or which version, Vijay?
Neon.
Okay, even I have neon, but okay.
This neon also I have installed in front of.
Direct it is coming as a finish only. Like I need to give the name and location. Here it is showing point to point channel connected by routing and finish. That's it. For me also it's showing like
Yeah, yeah, so those that is only
Okay,
required, nothing.
maybe some issue, but now it shows me next. Yeah, I just closed that and again recreated the integration project. So now it shows me.
Okay, nice. So you
Thanks.
have something like this on your
Yeah,
screen?
I'm now
Okay.
into point-to-point channel and the list that had come. Which one do I select? Yeah,
Point to point and just click
oh,
on finish.
point-to-point. Okay, okay, wonderful.
So now you all are integration consultant. No, nothing like that.
But thanks for waiting for me. Thank you.
Just kidding. So see, now you have an template which SAP has provided. Your training dot means whatever you name you have given. It, SAP has given this template. You can either delete it altogether if you don't want. You want it to be created from scratch for you, or if not, you can use the same one and create your own scenarios. Okay, so the one which I was there was training.com.demo.gov. Okay, so now my scenario is how many of you are aware of open soap services which are available on internet for free to test your scenarios? Anybody aware?
Yes, Sanat.
That
Yeah, Sanat.
means, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So there is one uh, website called WebEx service. Okay, let me get that URL for you. So what this open web service provide is, if you just send them your IP address, okay, my IP, my this is my IP address. Let's say if I send them my IP address, in response they will give me in which country I am located, okay, and what is the country code of my country. Okay, means I'm located in India and my country code is IND. Okay, if someone else from other country can provide me their IP address, I can show them theirs also. So this is an open web service which you can use to test your scenarios. Okay, so for this one, for configuration of this one, I need to have a sender structure. Okay, so how do we get a sender structure? So they only provide a WSDL for it. Okay, so I will just copy this. I'll go to my google.com and something called WSDL. And I will go to this link and I will download the WSDL which is provided by this webservicex.com. Okay, just be with me. Let me configure full scenario. Then I will answer your questions. Okay, uh, I'm just copying this WSDL into one text file. I'm just going here. I'm creating a text file, not the SFTP. Okay, I'm just saving the bill definition. I'm changing the extension name GOIP dot WSDL. Okay, yes, I've changed the name. So now this is a WSDL file, okay, which will help me to connect to the GOIP web service. Okay, now let's configure our iFlow or our HCI. So just send it so that everything is in one place. Okay. So now this is my sender. Okay, I can give some name to my sender. So for me, I will create a SOAP sender, SENDER. Now the name of my sender system is SOAP Center. I will do a SOAP communication channel configuration. I will be triggering this message through my boomerang. For those who don't know boomerang, if you have ever worked on SOAP UI or something like that, from where you can test your web services, you can trigger your XML message, request XML message, and you get a response from the web server in XML itself. Okay. So let's go to channel configuration. Okay. In channel configuration, I am just giving a name for it. So which is my channel? Will it be a SOAP or it will be IDOC? So just based on your project nomenclature, give the name. For me, it would be soap, boomerang, soap. Okay, there should be no spaces, nothing. Okay, everything should be with name should be without spaces or without the uh, special characters. Okay, now with the adapter configuration. Okay, so you have a list of adapters, and this is your sender adapter. Okay, first of all, this is your sender adapter. So when you go to the list of adapter, you won't find the Facebook, Twitter, LDAP, or ODC adapter. Okay, this would be the standard sender adapter, which you can from where you can select your adapter, your required adapter. So for this, I am selecting SOAP adapter. Okay. You have the message protocol, which message protocol, transport protocol over which your data will be sent over internet. So you have
Coffee
SFTP.
star.
Hello, hello, someone is speaking. Anyway. You have the transport protocol as your HTTPS, over which your data would be transported over internet, and you have message protocol in which format your message would be bundled up together. So under SOAP you have two sub criteria called as SOAP 1.x or the standard SOAP, and you have the SAP RM. Okay, so SAP RM is also kind of that 1.x itself, but it is SAP specific reliable messaging as SOAP reliable messaging call instance. But we will be using this standard SOAP 1.x for this type of configuration. Okay. Now let's do the address configuration. Okay. So think of it as this iFlow would be a unique, would require a unique address for the sender to send its data over that internet. Okay, so let's say when I say unique, for let's say if I have to connect the Facebook, I have a unique URL called www.facebook.com/my profile name. Okay, so that is a unique address for my profile name. If anybody wants to connect to me over Facebook, he or she has to go to that slash URL slash my sanajan or slash something like that slash the specific user ID name over which my profile is existing. So it would be the same case in your HCI also. You give only a unique address to it. Unique address as in you give some uh, your own defined address. So let's say I give uh, get uh, get GOIP demo or demo. Okay, so this is a address I have provided. This one means that this get geo IP demo will identify my iFlow. You will see. Don't get confused. You will see and understand in when the interface is completely configured. Okay. Now what I have to do is I have imported one WSDL. I've downloaded one WSDL which I need to import to this package. Okay. So one thing I forgot to tell you, as soon as I created a project in my Eclipse, there is one project training.com.demo.goip created with some predefined sub packages. Okay, there is one package known as main resource mapping. There is a package name called uh, 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 source main resource. scenario flows, integration flow. This package keeps all the integration flow which you create under this package. Okay. Under this package, the S script, you will be saving all your Groovy script, whatever your Groovy script you have created or your JavaScript you have created, those would be saved under this package. Okay. And anything or everything, the structures which you have imported or you have downloaded, you need to save under this package. So the WSDL file which I have just now generated from the web server, I have to import that to my this folder. So how do I import it? I click on this uh, I click on this folder, I click on import. Okay, there is an option called file system. Under the general, there is an sub option called file system. Click on next. The place where you want to pick up the WSDL, it's on desktop. Okay. Just now I have created a WSDL called gorp.WSDL. I will click on this. Okay. My target folder is already selected, because if not I can browse to other folder also, but I have already selected, so it is giving me this target folder. Okay, I will click on finish. Okay, and you will see there is a drop down now and your geo IP is present in the WSDL folder. I will double click on it and you will see a WSDL file. If anybody has seen the WSDL file before, then it would be very easy for them to understand. Else, it's not a big deal. WSDL file is nothing but a file which contains these structures of source or target and the web service which would be through which you would be able to hit the web servers. Okay, web services. Okay, so you are also provided with the uh, uh, service and the SOAP actions. So in the SOAP actions, you have the URL where URL and the WSDL port where you will your data your HCI will be hitting or your services will be hitting and getting the response. Okay, so let's first of all understand this WSDL. We have this WSDL in here. We need to import that WSDL in our service definition. So there is two things. You have your manual service and you have the WSDL service definition. So in manual, it means your whatever the data would be coming to your HCI, it will not it won't be validating that data, and it will be directly taking the structures whichever is coming to your HCI, and without validation it would move forward. But if service definition you have selected as WSDL, then it would be validated before even coming to your HCI for further processing. So as of now, I'm taking this WSDL. So this is my WSDL which I imported. Okay, and under this there are multiple services for the available under this WSDL. So you have SOAP service. Okay, you have the HTTP GET service, you have the service SOAP 12. So they have given multiple service to test um, um, yeah, our scenario. So for us it is SOAP service get GOIP. Okay, so automatically these services are being populated and the endpoint URL also. This these three things I have just selected that service whichever is um, required for me or which is valid for my scenario. I've just selected, and these services are automatically populated under this fields. Okay, I have not done or I have not written them manually. Okay. Now about the processing, keep the processing set status as robust as for the WS standard. We will understand the WS standard in later classes slowly. Okay. Now about the authorization. Okay. So your HCI supports two type of authorization. One is user rules, means user role means your ID password would be required to send your data to your HCI, and if your user role or your user ID password does not have adequate authorization of processing your messages or something like that, so your message won't reach to your HCI and you will be facing your authorization error in your from your sender side itself. But let's say it's not user based specific and you want to have an client certificate based communication. So just select certificate based communication, client certificates. Okay. Let me check if I have some certificate already. Let me quickly download some certificates. Don't panic and don't worry what those certificates are and what I'm doing. Just skip this step. I will be explaining this in later class today. Okay. What are the certificates and how this works? So I just need some browser certificates so that my data would be flown successfully from my browser to my HCI. Okay. So I'm importing one certificate which I have just now downloaded. It's there, the Geo IP certificate. I'm selecting this. My screen is visible to you, no? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So my sender configuration is done. Okay. It's some kind of simple sender configuration. You will see in the later classes, the sender configuration would be more simpler than the one I did right now. Even in this, I have did the validation for the sender structure. But in later classes, we won't be validating and we won't be doing the certificate based also. So we will be doing nothing in the sender adapter. Okay. Anyway, back to our scenario. So we have our sender adapter configured. Now let's go to receiver adapter. Okay. Now this is my Geo IP receiver. Just a name I have to provide, and that too it's not mandatory. Okay. Find the mandatory fields with the star adapter. Yes, sir.
Your battery is getting over here. You connect the power cable. It will stop otherwise.
To me,
Your laptop
okay.
battery.
No. It's just around the corner. Don't worry. So my adapter, I have to specify which adapter I need to use. Okay. So I am using the OData adapter, your SOAP adapter again. So at the receiver and also, and again I am taking 1.x here. Okay. now, but it is the receiver one, and you must have seen the adapter list in the receiver adapters. It is one is Ariba, one is Facebook, the four extra, the Facebook, Twitter, LDAP, and ODC adapters. So these are only placed or only available at the receiver end, but not at the sender end. Okay. So you have this adapter. Um, I am selecting the SOAP adapter. Okay, you are clicking, now go to adapter specific. Now here the address to which web service you want to connect to. Okay, so again,
Hello, Sanat, your voice is not audible.
Hello.
Even screens are frozen.
Yeah, yeah, screen share.
sorry, you're saying something?
Hello. Yeah, your screen was freezed actually.
Oh, one second. Which screen are you on right now?
Pop-up is there, no? Go to meeting hyphen Google Chrome and everything. Alt tab, I think. Alt tab that pop-up is there. That's it.
Oh, one second.
Yeah.
I have unchecked my screen. One second.
Okay, otherwise let me refresh then maybe.
One second, guys. Just a second.
Oh,
I'm just resharing my screen and check if it's connecting or not. Is it visible
still screen was freezed.
for everybody? Because right now I'm the Eclipse screen.
For
Let me
everyone, I
refresh.
guess. For me also it is free.
Can you refresh
Okay,
it? Just if
let
I
me refresh the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it's still frozen on receiver channel for receiver one.
way back.
Hello. I can see your Eclipse screen and you are open that to your IP WSDL, right?
Correct.
Yeah. When I refresh, it is coming now.
Okay. For others,
Yeah, I'm okay now, Sanat.
sorry.
I'm able to see your screen now. Yeah, I'm able to see your screen.
Yep. It's issue with this GoToMeeting. I'm not sure why. Okay. So in the receiver adapter, I have given this URL address of the service web service x.net / UIP service .asmx. Okay. Now the proxy type is over internet or to the on-premises. Again, the one which I told you while the IDOC configuration. Okay. Uh, so in this, it's over internet. It's not over on premises. This web service is over internet, it is accessible over internet. And I am again selecting the same WSDL file. Okay, my sender structure and receiver structure is same. There is no mapping involved So I'm selecting same visitor, the same get GOIP, and you will see all the things got populated automatically, all those fields. Your GOIP service, the GOIP SOAP, get GOIP, all those things are those words populated automatically. And this web service X, it is free web service, so there is no authentication required. Okay, so I'm selecting none. Okay, so this is done. My sender configuration, my receiver configuration, both the things are done. I am saving it. Okay, am I getting any error? No. Let me check for the errors. Okay, so how do we check if I have configured it correctly? I will click here, right click here, anywhere in the iFlow space apart from the this integration process and sender, in any place, click here, click on execute checks. Okay, so you will see it has run on some process. Okay, checking project training.com.demo GOIP. Some checks are executed and it says it has passed. Everything executed successfully and it has passed. So there are no errors in my iFlow. Okay, so it is ready to be deployed on the web service to my web UI or the tenant of my HCI. Okay, just be with me. I know for many of you it is confusing and taking time to understand, but I will be repeating everything and I will be solving your doubts. Then only I will be moving forward. Okay. So now what I am doing is I am deploying it. I am right click the same way I will deploy. Also I will click on the deploy integration content. It will give me a tenant ID. Which tenant ID do you want to deploy? Okay, so I have the tenant ID 300341, the same tenant ID. Okay, I will deploy this to that tenant. In the console, you will again find something like deployed triggered successfully with task ID. Is this? Check task view for deploying status, number of integration project triggered, 1, and it has been deployed. Now I have to do a monitoring of it. Okay, that my artifact has been successfully deployed or not. So we have two ways to monitor. One is through web UI, which I told you that day or today itself also in the monitoring. Okay, you have the HANA Cloud web UI monitoring where you can you can manage the integration artifacts. Oh, subscribe once again, let it re-login. Now we are in the monitoring screen of our HANA Cloud Web UI, HANA Cloud Integration Web UI, Cloud Integration Web UI. So here I will find my artifacts or integration content. So see, you have some 179 integration artifacts, which just like I have created just now, there are 179 which are been already deployed onto the cloud. Okay, in those 19 are in error state. For some or the other issue, they are in error state, and 160 are in started state. Okay, so let's click on the started one and see if my artifact or my iFlow is deployed or not. See, it is deployed just now. Okay, there is no error. It is deployed by me. Okay, this is my user ID when it was deployed. At this time, the ID, you have this ID, the version 1.1, 1.0.0. Okay, um, this is the endpoint URL. So for you guys, I gave a URL, a unique URL. I configured the sender adapter, and I created one unique. I told you that I have to create a unique address so that I can identify my iFlow. So see, I have one endpoint URL automatically created, which is which has been created by HCI itself and is provided here. So I had given the portion called slash get GeoIP demo, and this thing, it has been attached to that, and you have a unique URL which is specific to this iFlow only. Okay, and this would be the same case in IDOC also. Okay, so I told that in the sender side, let's say if my IDOC is sending the data, my ECC is sending the data in IDOC format. So each IDOC format, I have to provide one address in my HCI, and in my SM59 configuration, I will provide this URL, this specific URL, and for that you have to create one separate port. For each SM59 creation, we have a port, and that port is attached to your partner profile, and that partner profile is used to is required for processing your message IDOC messages. Okay, so as for now you are getting me what I'm saying. I was at the time that for each message type of your IDOC, you have one port, and that port has some SM59 configured RFC connection, and in that RFC connection I will be providing that URL, this URL, unique URL. So for each message type, I will be having one specific port which contains my sender adapter address. Okay, so this is my sender adapter address. So I created this sender adapter address, and I will be using this to trigger my iFlow. Okay, so here I can see that my message, my artifact is successfully deployed. If I want to do the monitoring message process, there is no message which has been processed for this one. So I'm going back. Okay, if I want to view this, if I want to view that iFlow in this here itself, what happened? Hey, for you guys, screen is visible, no?
Yes, Sanath.
Yeah.
Okay, lost. Uh, okay. And if in case I want to view my integration flow or iFlow, I will just click on this iFlow, view iFlow, and it will show the iFlow which I have created in my Eclipse. Okay. So this is soap sender, this is receiver, This is SOAP sender adapter, receiver adapter, and the configuration in the SOAP adapter, sender adapter, receiver adapter. See, this is the boomerang, get GeoIP demo, okay, the WSDL, all these things you can view in your cloud tenant also, whatever you have deployed here. Now I am going back to my Eclipse. Now if I want to do same monitoring in my Eclipse, I will go to my node explorer. I will click on the root node, the one, this one, P0341. I will double click on it. You will see different type of monitoring here. So you have the message monitoring, you have the trace configuration, you have the deployed artifact. You have the deployed artifacts. Okay. Now the deployed until the deployed artifact, I will sort it based on the date. Okay, when they are deployed. So the latest one I have deployed training.com.demo.geoip. So this is the one which I have recently deployed. And that endpoint URL, the endpoint URL which I have got here directly in my monitoring, it is not visible here. So where I get that endpoint URL, I will go to my worker node. This is my worker node. I will select that, go to properties. Okay. Under this, there is an option called services. Okay. So under services, you will find all the endpoint URLs which are being generated by HCI. Okay. These are generated by HCI. We have just given the last suffix of the endpoint URL, whatever we have given, just suffix of it, and it has means your HCI, it has added that suffix to the standard worker node URL. So you have one worker node URL 0 P0341 Eiffel map, something like something, and this is EU. EU is means your European server. Okay. ondemand.com ondemand.com/cfx dot someone has given this endpoint as their address. You can give a meaningful address. The address should be something meaningful. So we gave the demo get GeoIP demo. What was that? Get GeoIP demo. So let me find out. Let's find out what is our scenario. Training.com.demo.geoip. Training.com.geoip. Training. Yes, so this was our scenario. This is our iFlow, and for this iFlow, endpoint URL is created. So either from this portion you can take the URL, or you can click here, right click here, and copy the endpoint URL. Okay. So this is how you do the configuration in your HCI. Okay. Also for the sender system, I have to import the certificate. The same certificate I downloaded before, I have to import here also. So the certificate works GeoIP certificates. Okay, done. I'm saving it. I'm deploying it again to the cloud or the tenant. Okay, once again let it populate, then I will click on OK. So this is populated. Now this is done. My configuration in HCI is done. This is all you need to configure. No SLD configuration, no ESR configuration, no ID configuration, nothing, no LCO configuration, nothing at all. Everything is done in this same iFlow. You have the sender system, you have the receiver system, you have the BPMs also available. You can send it to ECC, you can send it to your cloud, everything and anything, it is configurable under your iFlow. You don't need to go for extra mile, or you don't need to configure extra for other systems. Okay, it's as simple as that. Okay, so this is hardly half an hour or 15 minutes in which you can configure this whole scenario. Okay, now let's test it. Okay, so how to test it? There is an tool called Boomerang, okay, which is specifically for this only, means triggering a new triggering a SOAP message. So let's create this was for OData, it was for SOAP, SOAP, GOIPSOAP, UIP SOAP. Create a service. This is a SOAP service or REST service. This is a SOAP service. Now the WSDL file. How to trigger that message? You need to have a WSDL file. So I'm taking that WSDL file, whichever I have generated, which I have imported. Now I'm giving a name for this WSDL file. Click on this. From here, let's create a request. Okay, creating a request. What was my endpoint URL? Endpoint URL, endpoint URL. So this was my endpoint URL. Okay, I'm copying it. My endpoint URL, I'm keeping it here. Now I am sending my IP address to it. So my IP address. Just be with me 5 more minutes, then I will solve your queries and we will understand the scenario once again. Now I am sending this IP address, okay, in this XML format to this endpoint URL, which means my HCI. Okay, and let's see what response my HCI will give. See, I got a response from my HCI. The return code is 1. My IP address is successful. My country, which is India, and country code is INT. So my scenario is successful. Now I will go to my monitoring. Okay, under my message monitoring, I will see for last hour or last minute if there is any message processed. So see, one message has been processed which says from receiver 1 Geo IP services, my integration flow was named as training.com.demo.geoips. Same one. Okay, training.com.demo.geoip. Okay, and it is in complete status. There is no error. Okay, and if I click here, you will see there is no error, no intermediate error also, and it is working fine. My HCI iFlow, it is working fine. And if you want, you can go through this message log to understand it better. This message log is step-by-step details that it invoked the GeoIP, your HCI, when as soon as it came to your HCI, it invoked this endpoint or this address, whichever we have configured. Then we, which Java your SOAP bin it picked up. Okay, was there any processing? If there is a mapping, then you would be having one more specific action for mapping. Then after it has received, it will directly go to the receiving end. Okay, from receiver see the receiver. This is for your sake. If you want to understand this logs, generally it is not required. It directly gives you the error. If in case there is an error, it gives you error upfront. Okay, that this error has occurred and you need to do this task. Okay, so you have this mapping. Okay, you have this monitoring done. Okay, and now our scenario is live. If I want to do the same mapping in my uh, web UI, I will go to this overview. Yeah, for last hour there is no nothing.
All the monitoring activities also can be done from Eclipse.
Yes, sir. Everything, anything and everything about mapping and all the features, it is achievable through Eclipse. See, here also there is one message which has been processed in my last 1 hour. Okay, and if I want to view that message, this is the message, and I want to view the processing logs. It will take me to processing logs, and here also you can do the same understanding the logs if required. Okay, so this is my end-to-end scenario. This is just one scenario which I have configured. Generally, I take I used to make you understand each step first and then create one scenario. But now what we are doing is we are creating one whole scenario and still understanding each step one by one. Okay. So what we did first, I have created, first step was I created the package. Okay, this was the package I created, and that in that I have one uh, iFlow template provided. Now under that package I configured the sender system. I've just given the name for the sender system. Then I imported the WSDL. WSDL means the structure of sender. If in case you have the sender structure, then you can import the WSDL in your sender adapter, and if in case it's not there, you just leave it as it is, keep it to the manual, and your HCI will take and validate the XML. Only it will validate the XML, and uh, 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 it will process the message to further steps, like it will be going for mapping or something like that. Okay, so that is about your sender configuration. I'm going back to my sender adapter configuration, where I have specified one address, one unique address. Using this unique address, this unique address, your HCI will suffix this to my uh, runtime URL of HCI, and you have one unique HCI URL which you can use everywhere to you can use anywhere to trigger this iFlow. It is very specific and only specific to this iFlow. Okay, using this URL you cannot trigger any other iFlow or another interface. Okay, from this same HCI tool. Okay, now I have given this, I have imported the visual structure and also the authentication being the certificate based authentication. Okay, so certificate based authentication we will understand till means by 8 o'clock. Okay, first of all understand the scenario, keep the certificate based authentication aside. Okay, now coming back to our scenario, this is one-to-one scenario, so no mapping involved. I have not done any transformation logic or any business logic, just sending the data as it is to the receiver. Okay, at the receiver end I have done this receiver adapter configuration. integration. Again, it's a SOAP adapter. Okay. Adapter specific, I have provided the web service X URL. Okay, this is the actual URL where you will be getting the response from this web service X services. Okay, where I will get the response of which country my IP address is of. Okay, so I have given that URL. What is the proxy type? It is over internet. Okay, you have the WSDL. I have just taken the same WSDL. Okay, because it is universal and there is no changes. The authentication type is none because there is no user authentication. Any user authentication, client authentication, certificate-based authentication, nothing is there. So I have kept that to none. And just means after this I have just saved it and deployed it to my cloud. Okay. After that, what I did, I triggered the message. Okay, I requested the message. For those guys who are not aware of Boomerang or SOAP UI, these are the tools by which you can trigger a message, a XML message, request message, and you get a response from the web services. So in case you don't understand, it is kind of your Firefox backend. Okay, so in Firefox you have the your whatever you request by writing www.google.com. So everything is converted to your XML. So the same thing is here, but in this case everything is present in the XML format rather than the UI format. Okay, the user interface format. So here this is means the one I showed you earlier. Okay, so this was in the UI format. This IP address was sent in this format, which is the same here. Okay, the IP address I'm sending, and I am getting a response from that web service. Again, it is successful. The same response which I got. See, return code 1. This IP address is successful. Country name India, country code IND. Okay. So this is about my scenario. Then we did the monitoring in both Eclipse and your web UI. Okay, and we have seen the logs. Okay, a simple scenario, very simple basic scenario, which you will be doing today itself. I will be giving you 15 minutes to configure and ask me questions and where you have got stuck. Okay, but right now I would be expecting some questions from you guys where you haven't understand what I have just now teased you.
Yes, Anna, can you just show me how to move to message monitoring screen in Eclipse? I just missed that part. Yes, Anna, can you hear me?
Anand, you there?
Sanat,
I think it shows offline.
Sanat, are you there? Arvind, are you able to understand this get GeoIP demo? I lost that session like 15 minutes.
Yeah, understood that, not an issue. If you ask it, you can ask one more time, not an issue.
I think whatever
I
you have
lost
done
that.
on it would be recorded, right?
Sanat is telling it's not recording. but we need to ask.
Yeah.
Whatever is done on Eclipse is also not recorded.
Not sure. Arvind, can I have your number? It is okay for you.
Who's it? Sairam. Okay.
Siren.
Yeah. You take down. 97420
7420
33733.
3733.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sairam, you are also from India or US?
No, India only. India only. Hyderabad.
Oh, okay.
Hello, sorry. I guess my screen was stuck. Internet got stuck. Hello, from Global Online, can you make me presenter, please? Hello. Yeah. In the meantime, for you guys, what portion you got stuck? Hello.
My question was, can you just show me how
Yes,
to
sir.
navigate to message monitoring from Eclipse? I just missed that part.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Message monitoring in
Hello.
Eclipse. Message monitoring in Eclipse.
Oh, monitoring in Eclipse. Yep, sure. I will do that, but as soon as
I just missed the navigation side.
okay. So, are we good? Means, are there any other questions rather than what we did for the configuration? I guess I was telling that the IP address and this it got responded. Rather, I was not aware that the connection lost and I was speaking. I just reiterated everything which I taught today. So let me quickly, once they make me presenter, I will again give you background. Whatever I have tasted, I will give you background. But once
Sanat
again,
Arvind here.
Bharat, are you there? Yeah, Arvind.
Yeah, see.
One second. Bharat, can you make me presenter, please? Back to. Hello. Yes, Arvind, you were saying?
Yeah, and whatever interface you are doing in the Eclipse, you're able to record it, right? Eclipse is not your server, right? Like in a Eclipse thing, are you able to record it?
Record it as in case means.
Like his automating session, whatever you're explaining on the Eclipse, you're able to record it. It's not
Yeah,
belong to your
that could be recorded.
server details.
No, Eclipse does have my server details. So
Okay.
because
No issues.
anyway, don't worry. Some recordings would be there with you, and I will be teaching that much. I will be repeating that many times the same thing that you will be. It would be by heart to you guys.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So any questions till now for my?
Sanath, I have few certificate related questions. So anyway, you will be covering a separate, I think, topics on
Yes,
certificates, right?
yes,
So I will take it at that
certificate.
time. Yeah.
Tomorrow I will be covering certificate from scratch. Okay. If
That comes under cloud security, cloud integration security part.
yes, sir.
Okay. Okay then.
Okay. Also means there is only not only the certificates. There is one more portion called the security in your data. Also means you have the encoding and decoding of your messages, which is very specific. Rather means some clients do want their data to be secured based on the base 64 based of encoding, but some of them don't. So we will be understanding those things, but that would be covered in later classes, not yet tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be understanding only the certificate-based communication. Okay.
Sanad, this is Sairam. Sanad, I lost this Wisdel one, GetGeo part for 15 minutes
Sorry, which
due to
one?
networking. Wisdel one, web service. GetGeo Wisdel is there, no?
Yeah.
I lost that
So
portion like due to network issue. Can you?
no problem, no problem. I will see the document which I will be giving today. In that document, you have all the steps how to download that Wisdel also. Okay.
Okay, then no problem.
But the first thing is there is nobody from the global online team, and I want to be presenter again. Uh, that's why I'm not able to share my screen. Hello, who's there from global online? Bharat.
Can I call Bharat?
Yes, thank you. No, thank you. It's done. Yes, thank you. Is it visible?
Yes.
So now where was I? Yeah. So you wanted the Wisdel file to be downloaded, na? You lost that?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So just go to this, write this, MX copy, this one, paste. There would be one link called question mark Wisdel. Okay. Directly go to the first URL, whatever comes to your Google. Okay. Copy this one, this full structure of Wisdel. Copy this to your text. What I did is I write created a text file. What I did, click on new text. I have pasted this, saved it. Okay. Change the name and the extension, and that's it. Okay. I have a Visual file here. Okay. Simple steps.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, let me reiterate full scenario. I have created the package. I have in the package I gave the sender adapter to the template iFlow they have provided. I have given the name to sender adapter. I can give the name to this integration flow also, integration process also, geo IP P. Okay, I can save it. This is my integration process. I have done the SOAP adapter configuration. Here I given the name. It's not mandatory, but you can give a name to your adapter. Okay, give give a URL, a specific or a unique URL through which you will generate one unique HCI URL. Means you just give one get GUIP demo, and this cannot be identical to any another project. another iflow. If you give the same URL, the same slash suffix in this, which is same to the other integration process, then at the time of deployment, you will be given a error that it is this URL, this suffix is already been used. So please provide some another suffix. Okay. Then you have given the visitor details, you have imported a certificate, okay. Then you did the adapters, receiver adapter configuration, where you provided the endpoint URL of the open web service, okay, the service web service x.net, okay, the GeoIP service. I've taken the same WSDL, same service endpoint and operation name, okay, those things got populated automatically. My authentication, it is none because it is an open web service, okay, and I deployed it on my cloud. When I have tested this using the Boomerang or the SOAP UI, I can test it by any of the two tools, okay, but the SOAP UI, it is not working properly, something error is coming, so I'm using the Boomerang, and it's quite simple as compared to your SOAP UI. Okay, you just need the post URL of the send receiver system, and that's it. Okay, so in our case, the receiver is your HCI. Then from HCI, it is going to the web services. From web service X, we are getting a response, and from your HCI is taking that response and giving back to our Boomerang. So this is the subsequent process of your end-to-end configuration. Okay. So now let's say I want to change or customize this scenario. So what do I need to do? I want to do a mapping in this. Okay. So what I will do, I will go to this palette. Okay. Under this palette, there is one package under message transformation package. Under this package, we have one event called mapping. So I'm taking this mapping and placing this mapping in between the start and end. See, I place this. Now, as of now, I haven't created any mapping, or I don't have the sender or receiver structures also. So how do I assign a mapping, or how do I create a mapping? So just right click on this box, okay, click on new message mapping, okay, select the new, hello, guys, there na?
Yes, yes, Sanath.
Yes, yes, we are there.
Okay. Select create a message mapping, give some names. So I will give a name transformation, GOIP transformation. Okay. The project path, again, which package do you want to place this mapping into? So this is the one under source, main, resource, and you have the mapping. Okay. GOIP transformation. Okay. Now this is your landing page of mapping. You have a source element and your target element. In our case, source and target are both same. So both WSDL file. Okay. So let's do get GOIP. Which one? Which one? Let me check. No, not this one. Remove this. Get GOIP. Okay. At the target also, I am giving the same structure. Okay. So this is the overview tab. Okay. You have the sender structure and you have the receiver structure. Okay. Go to definition and you will find as a simple sender and receiver structure. Okay. So how to do a mapping in this? Let me select this one. If I want to place, if it's in one-to-one mapping and all the fields which are there present in the sender, I have to place into receiver. So I'll pick up this and I will release on this one. So see, there is one-to-one mapping done, and here it is. You have the sender field, and you have the target field. Okay, and at the right hand side you have some standard functions. So PI guys, it would be very much familiar to you, the standard functions, because you must have done this day in day out, the different type of functions, node functions, date functions, uh, constant function, text functions. Okay, these are the standard functions available in your HCI, just identical to your PI. Okay, so for the node one, I am not doing any changes, but for the sub node, the IP address, let's do some hard coding. So I have taken this field, the sender IP address, the receiver IP address. Let's do some hard coding. So constant, we take under from the node constant. I placed it here. Okay. Uh, in which option we have the concatenate? Uh, yeah. So what I am doing is I am taking the first one and I'm attaching to this one. Okay. The second constant one to the second part of my concatenate, and the merger of the two would be placed in my IP address, and this requires a hell lot of precision to place from one node to another node. Yes, okay. So you see one line is automatically connected from my IP address to my source IP address to receiver IP address. Okay. Now, what is the hard coding I am doing? So at the constant end, I will take my second half of my IP address. So dot 28.186. So I will place it here. Okay. So this is my constant. And concatenate, I am concatenating without any spaces. Okay. And this value, the merger of the two is going in the IP address target. Okay. So this is done about my mapping. It's a simple mapping, simple graphical mapping. Okay. Simple graphical mapping. Okay. So I've created one simple graphical mapping. I'm going back to my iFlow. Now I have to assign that graphical mapping to this message mapping. So I will click here, assign message mapping, the one which I have created, geo IP transformation. I will select this. The name would be changed of the box. See, geo IP transformation. Okay. Okay. Now I will save it. I will check for errors. No, it is passed. There are no errors in my integration project. I will deploy this project again to my uh, HCI tenant. Yes, now I'm deploying it. Okay, and I will monitor if it is deployed correctly or not. So how to do monitoring? Go to deployed artifacts. and see what time it has been deployed. So 7:59 is the time. Okay, 23 seconds. It has been deployed. So it has been deployed successfully. Let's go to my boomerang. From boomerang, now I'm sending only this part, 1.23, not the other part. Okay, that has been hard coded in my mapping. So I'm sending it. Let's wait for the response. Okay, so again it's successful, and see the IP address which came back. It came full IP address. I sent only the first half 1.23, and my mapping, my response got full IP address 1.23.28.186. Okay, and this is again the same IP address of my PC. Okay, so any questions till now on this? Because there is too much things which we have done. We have done the mapping also. We have created a scenario from scratch, and we have also done the monitoring for the same. Okay. So any questions for this? Oh, one second. Someone was asking for the monitoring. Yeah, one second. Someone was asking for monitoring in my Eclipse. So this is where you do the monitoring from the root node of your Eclipse, root node of your tenant. Just double click on it, go to monitoring, click on the last 1 hour processing or whatever. It means last 1 hour, last 24 hours, 7 days, okay. And search for it, you will see there is two messages which have flown, okay. One at 8 o'clock and one at 7:27. Okay, so this is where you do the monitoring of your messages in Eclipse. Yes, someone was saying.
Yeah, Sanat, can you just show me how you created the message map?
Sorry?
Can you just show me how you created the message mapping? There was a glitch and I couldn't follow that. Just the beginning, how you created it.
Okay. Okay. So go to this message transformation. Here there is an option called mapping. Okay. Take this, place it in between. Okay. Right click on. Who's sleeping now? Are my sessions so boring? Anyway.
We lost you.
So, sorry?
You're showing the screen, right? Eclipse screen.
Yes. So, create new message mapping. Okay, new message mapping. Give some name, yes, sir.
And if you want to add a Java map or an XSLT map, how do you do that?
Java mapping that is not supported in your HCI.
And if I have an XSLT,
Okay. XSLT mapping, yes, it does. Right click on it. There is an option called switch to XSLT mapping. Okay. So this is where and now you can create your own XSL mapping. Okay. But you can import your XSLT mapping. Okay. If you know at what place it is placed, okay, so you can do that, or you can create that in your Altova and then import that to your project. Again, the same way you did the BizDel file, you can import the XSLT mapping and you can assign that mapping to your this XSLT mapping. Okay.
okay.
Java mapping, yes, Java mapping, it's not directly, it's not there. Your UDFs are there, but Java mapping, it's not there.
Okay.
Sanat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see here, like in Here we'll use operation mapping here.
Yes, we can generally see directly operational mapping is not allowed. If you have your PI system connected to your HCI, then you can import that operation mapping from your PI, and then you can assign that operation mapping to the this your message mapping of your HCI.
Sorry.
So once you
Repeat it.
see, you cannot create a operation mapping in your HCI. First thing, okay. You can either import it from your PI, or if you have downloaded from your PI, then you can again import from the other way. Means there is an option called importing the PI objects directly. Okay, so go to your preferences, Windows and preferences. In this, you have something called repository connection. Under your cloud platform integration, you have something called repository connection. So you just need to provide the ESR URL here and user ID password of your PI, and you will be able to view.
See, if this repository connection is useful when you are using PA also,
In your
right? No. Repository connection you will give when you are using PA system also, right? Otherwise, not required
yeah,
right here, right? See,
correct.
I am asking, suppose in HCA, you take example of PA. You will create data type, message type, service interface, mapping, operation mapping, and ASR. And those things,
Yes.
all the same set you will do it here in HCA or not?
No, we won't be doing. We can
So,
import those, but we cannot create those here.
suppose here I used have WSDL, so up to service interface we are using here. So suppose any data type you are using, like suppose any proxy interface is there, you need to create your own data type. So how do we do this?
So proxy interface is not supported in HCI.
Okay. Okay, then. So,
Again, as well.
so you need to use XSDs or
Or WSDL.
SOAP URLs here. So
No,
you will not able to. So you will not able to create your own data types here. You mean to say, right?
we can create WSDLs, but not data types as we do in our PI.
That's fine. Okay, and let me iterate something. Suppose when you're doing any interface in only in HCA means operation mapping is not required. Only mapping is required. Am I correct?
Yes. Totally
Okay.
correct. Bilkul correct. Totally correct.
Yeah. Okay. So sender and sender communication channel mapping and receiver communication channel is enough. You need to configure
That's
the
it.
whole
Yes.
scenario.
Yes, we did the
Okay.
same thing right now.
Yeah, and that's what I want to understand that comparative to PA. So how do we configure in
Yeah.
HA? In PA we have that ESR and ESR ID concept. No? So all those things how it will be
Yeah.
implemented here. I'm thinking that's fine.
So
That's fine.
yes, so ESR ID, that is all together removed, and that is also removed, means that is removed for good, because it is again creating confusion. Something is created in ESR, then you do the configuration in ID, and you do monitoring in your runtime workbench. So everything is so separated, and everything is so you have to go to different screens to do that. But in HCI, it's done at the same screen of Eclipse.
And suppose in any one landscape, EA system also is there and HA system also is there. So ESR objects you will connect it from here. So how do we access ID objects?
ID objects, that is not possible. They are just,
Not
why they have given
not
one,
possible.
see,
Okay.
why have they given the ESR objects? That too, there is a big reason behind that. For some clients, let's say they are moving their interfacing tool from PI to HCI. Okay, so the major development or the major time which any interface requires are the ESR objects rather than the ID objects. Correct. Correct me if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
wrong.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so what they did is they gave, if let's say company A has some 200 interface in PI and they want to migrate that to your HCI. So what they did is don't go for creation of those structures from scratch or those mapping from scratch. Just import that to your HCI and those will work here also, but you have to create your iFlows from scratch in your HCI. Okay.
Yeah, got it,
Okay.
got it.
Okay.
And
So
you will be
yes.
explaining us like in a transport mechanism, everything, right?
Yes, kind of. So there is no transport mechanism in the
Yeah,
HCI.
I know that. Like, I know,
Yes.
and how do we do that? You know, just I
Yes,
know
yes,
that.
sure. I will be showing, but just bringing down the expectation from HCI. That's why I told.
Yeah, I know that. That is.
Yeah. So this is about it. I would give, let's take 5 minutes, everybody, just take 5 minutes and configure this scenario at their end. Okay. Try to create a simple iFlow. Try to do the configuration in your SOAP. Okay. Just matter of 5 minutes. I'm just I'm coming after drinking some water, and just ask me some if, then we will solve it and then we'll end the session. Okay. Just 5 minutes.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Was everyone there?
Yeah. Yes, Arvind, yeah, there.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, hello. Hello? Guys? And I don't hear any. Okay. So, trying to configure the scenario?
Checking that, just give us a minute.
Okay.
Soap channel you went there once. Soap center channel.
Sorry?
Show me the soap center channel once. Soap center channel.
Center channel. Okay. Yes.
And
just a second.
how do you get this address actually? You can give any address right there.
Yes, the first address, no? Get geo IP demo. You can give your specific address, but that should be unique.
Okay. Services WSDL, right? Service WSDL, you can go that.
Yep. Have you all imported a WSDL to your project?
Oh, I need to import it now, sir. Yeah, got it.
Anyway, the thing is, I will be sending the document, and before tomorrow, are you guys available? First of all, who all are available tomorrow?
Tomorrow I am available.
Arvind is available. Karthik?
I am also available.
Pradeep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vijay is also available.
Vijay, Vinay?
Hi, available, sir. Available, sir.
Okay. Okay. Shankar? Karthik, Shankar? If...
I'm also available, Sanath.
Okay. So it's only left Karthik. Karthik, if you are available, we will be having tomorrow's session. At the same time, we will be having again 2.5 hours or something like tomorrow's session. Okay. So that we can complete our batch little fast. Okay. So we will be able to complete it before, let's say, this 30th of May. We will be able to complete our batches. Okay. If it's fine with you all guys, because yes, sir.
Okay. And Sanath, when you import the WSDL, you need to select which one. It is general, EJB, GNT. What is it you need to select?
What you were saying?
When you want to import the WSDL file, you need to select which one, general or web services. Which one you need to select?
One second, I'll show you. Click on import. Under general, you have the file system. Okay.
File system, yeah. Okay. You have any
next
document like this? Is there any step-by-step document? It will be easy for us to remove the things.
Yes, sir. Don't worry. See, I am just letting you configure once. Then I have all these steps ready with each, with what you have to do, where you have to do the configuration. Apart from the mapping, it's not involved in this document. Even I have attached this WSDL with my document. So not to worry if you're not able to remember. Whatever I have taught today is there in this document. Okay, in detail.
Fine. Very good. So it will be easy for us to do that one. And
it would be easier for us in. Yes, sir. Tell me.
In the central communication channel, in the adapter specific URL to WSDL. So browse. I didn't get anything on that. Where do you get this?
Have you imported the WSDL under this package?
Yes, I've done that.
Okay, so as soon as you click the browse, your WSDL would be available here. See.
No, I'm not receiving there. Here I'm not getting, that's why I'm
check
asking.
if the WS, I guess some steps would have been missed, or your WSDL is not correctly imported.
It's imported only, but the file name, that is .txt. Okay, I'll change it.
No, change it to WSDL.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
I'm done, Sanat.
Wow. Who's this?
Shankar.
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 Shankar is done
You're
that.
on roll.
Windows
So,
10, Windows 10 is not allowing me to change it to WSDL.
I just put without mapping only, so I can add it later.
okay. So, in Windows 10, it's not like you have to change the option of how to do this in Windows 10. Anybody know how to change the extension in Windows 10? Because in this, Windows 7, you go to tools, in the folder option, there is, in the view, there is something called show, hide the extension of the file. If you click on this, you won't be able to view the extension of your like text or something like that. So in Windows 10,
Yeah,
I'm
this
not
will,
sure about that.
yeah, Windows 10, sucks actually. That's it. Okay. I got this. We'll do that. Not an issue.
Okay. Or either you can click on the option of the file, go to property, under the
Properties.
property, yeah, you can change from TXT to WSDL. Okay. Anyway, guys, so let's wrap up today's session. Okay.
Tomorrow
I
will meet
would
at same time.
tomorrow at yes, the same time we will be meeting. Okay. I would be expecting each and everybody to complete this, create this and complete this, and I want you to check also, right click here in the in this iFlow and check execute checks, and there should be past status. Okay, here the integration project pass, it should be 1. So tomorrow it's your task to complete by tomorrow before class. Okay, so that it would be easier for you guys to grasp the things which I will be teaching in further classes. Okay.
Sure, sir. Yeah.
Yep,
We
sir.
should be able to test
Okay.
this in Eclipse.
No, sir, you won't be able to test the scenarios. You won't be able to deploy it on the cloud. That
Can
is
you
the only thing.
Thank
show me
you, sir.
how you
I'm logging out.
Yep, okay, Arvind. Bye. Yeah, Vijay, you were saying?
Sanat, can you just show me how what we see on the screen on the console and how do we get that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question first? It was quick.
So you should so the successful checks are executed successfully. How did you get that? What do we need to? How do we need to
Yes,
test our scenario?
yes, sir. So once you save it, everything you have saved it, okay, just right click on anywhere on your iFlow. Click on execute
Great.
checks. Okay.
Okay. And
Okay.
Sanat, I've just given the soup adapter details, but it is showing a cross mark on it.
Yes, so that is the error. What is the error? Go to that cross mark directly on your iFlow. Just move your mouse
No, no, I
over
got
there.
it. I
It
got
will
it.
give some.
I got it. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
Sanat.
So just
I think we'll work
so
back.
slowly you have to remove these errors, because I know why, not to make mistakes, but you are prone to make mistakes. So just remove that mistake slowly, and if not, we will see it tomorrow. Okay, sir.
Okay, boss. Right.
Yep, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Anand. Thanks all. Yeah.
Bye.